remaining with us. And my name is Anthony Sebale. We are looking at the stock market as it stands in East Africa. The very first one to be started, of course, in 1954, when we had only one exchange in East Africa, where all the companies that had to be listed were on that exchange. And it was, of course, offering very ordinary shares to ordinary shareholders in the market back then. And right now, it is the leading stock exchange in East Africa, offering world-class trading facilities for both its local and foreign investors looking to gain exposure to the country's rising economy. Now, the Boaz is based in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, which is one of the fastest growing economies in sub-Saharan Africa. And the NSE operates under the jurisdiction of the Capital Markets Authority of Kenya and is governed by an 11-member board of directors. And of course, in 2014, after a successful IPO to raise about 627 million Kenyan shillings, the Nairobi Stock Exchange demutualized and became a listed entity on the main board of its own exchange. In 2008, in order to provide investors with a comprehensive measure of the performance of the market, the Nairobi Stock Exchange launched its Nairobi Stock Exchange All-Share Index, and the Nairobi Exchange All-Share Index is a market capitalization weighted index. The best value was 100 best points as of January 2008, comprising of all the listed securities, effectively the benchmark index of the Kenyan stock market. In 2011, together with the FTSE, that is the London Exchange International, and the Nairobi Stock Exchange, they introduced the FTSE NSE Kenya 15 and the FTSE NSE Kenya 25 indices, which are designed to create an index tracking funds, of course, and derivatives. And as performance benchmarks, while ensuring investability in the market. Now, the Nairobi Stock Exchange 25 share index measures the top 25 companies. Now, let's look at the performance of the Nairobi Stock Exchange All-Share Index. First of all, the index went up as of Friday by about 4 points. And that was about a 3.2% raise or increment in points or appreciation in points. And it went up to somewhere below, a little below 125. And it closed, of course, the market at around 124.94 points. Now, this is a very significant increase in points, given the fact that by the beginning of last week, the Nairobi Stock Exchange All-Share Index was lingering between 116 to about 120 points. And it had actually not reached 120 since the beginning of about 2 weeks ago. And right now we can see it crossing into the 124 points. And we hope it will cross the 125 mark by the end of the trading today. But definitely, this was due to the activity on the market that was witnessed by about let's see, how many equities traded? About 48 equities traded, and about 25 ended up being top gainers, and about 13 companies lost on the market. And among the gainers of the market, we had Longhorn Publishers, who led the gainers by about 10% appreciation. We also had East African Cables at about 7.78%. Then Williamson T Kenya at about 5.44% appreciation in price. And we also had a couple of other gainers like East African Portland Cement Company at about 5% appreciation in price. And definitely that was one of the highlights on the market and one of the attributes to which we can give the increment in that the number of points for the all share index. On the losing side, however, we had about 13 equities that lost on the market. These are Samia Africa. Samia Africa came out last with an end of day depreciation of 8.95% and the Kenyan shillings, of course. And then we had about 3.46 per share, Kenyan shillings per share traded on Samia Africa there. Then he was followed by Centum Investments Company at about 7.77%. So you can see Centum here lost on the market. However, on the Ugandan market, I think Centum was one of the gainers. So yeah, that's the beauty of being cross-listed. Of course, you can gain in one and then lose in another market. Another loser was Ever Ready East Africa at 5.41% depreciation, and Nairobi Business Ventures at about 5% depreciation. Safaricom recorded the highest volumes traded at about 15.2 million shares that were traded. He was followed by Equity Holdings at about 3.51 million Kenyan shillings and Centum Investment Company at about 1.09 million shillings and KCB Group at about 1.08 million shillings. Now, on the market of the Nairobi Stock Exchange, there are 4 market segments. Definitely these we have mentioned before, but just for a reminder, we have the main investment market segment that caters for the large stocks. We also have the alternate investment segment that caters for the medium-sized companies. We also have the fixed income securities market segment that looks into selling and buying of securities like treasury bonds and treasury bills, as well as corporate bonds, which are for certain entities or corporate bodies that are specified. And in, of course, 2013, they had a new segment which came up on board, which is known as the growth segment or the growth enterprise segment. And this looks into it looks into the small enterprises, those that are growing and are seeking to gain capital or access capital markets. And definitely that's what Kenya has done there for them. The other companies, of course, that that had some activity or movement on the market, we had Absa Bank of Kenya, public limited company, who gained by about 0.1 shillings to a price of 10.7 shillings, Kenyan shillings, of course, and the volume traded was about 6,600. And Bamburi Cement Limited at 33 cents, traded 2,400 shares in volume and lost or depreciated in value at 1.4%. BK Group Public Company Limited was a gainer at 0.55 cents appreciation to a price of 30 cents and traded up about 100 shares. Britam Holdings Limited at 5.52 Kenyan shillings was among the losers, losing by about 0.18 Kenyan shillings to a price of 30,200. And of course, Britam Holdings also has presence here in terms of its financial services, that is Britam Asset Managers. And Britam Asset Managers, like all the other managers, are actually some of the people that are investing, helping people invest in the unit trust funds or the collective that